Good morning, everybody, on not a bad Monday. It's the 22nd of February, 2016. It's the dog in the kennel. Weber this week. Hey, a couple weeks ago we had Tom Wilmot Sr. and Brent Stevens talking LAGO, Lago, baby. Today we got two of the sons in to talk about how it's going, and we'll get an update from them on their perspective of the brand new casino being built out in good old Tyre, New York. It's a Monday morning. We welcome you to our show, and it's always good to have you alongside. We want you to sit back and enjoy. Today we have Tom Wilmot Jr. in. Tom, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And, of course, Jimmy. I met Jimmy at the signing of the Beam. Did a great job emceeing, by the way, and it's good to see you without the sling on.
Good to be without the sling.
Jimmy Wilmot is alongside. Well, guys, the talk of the area and the talk of the area for several months since the conception was decided to go ahead and build a casino on the site that it's presently being worked on. It's got to make you guys feel pretty good from the family side of it, the operation. Jimmy, take it first. You got to be happy where you're at right now as far as progress building it.
Yeah, we couldn't be happier. We really got lucky this winter with the conditions we had. Allowed us to get through the foundations and get going on the steel without really being impeded by the storms that we had last year. So the process has really set itself up well for us to continue towards a Q1 opening of 17.
Well, I know people are talking about it every day, and Tom, certainly you've got to be as thrilled as your brother knowing where you're at right now. You've got to be ahead of schedule. If last year was this case where the bad winter we had here in the Finger Lakes, I'm not so sure you would be where you are today. But knock on wood, it's been a great winter so far. We're thankful. You as well have got to be thrilled where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a very, very fortunate winter, and we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule. Everything's on budget. I think, as we just mentioned, we've only sort of lost about half a day, and that would have been last Tuesday when we got some real upstate snow.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, having lived here and turning the big 7-0 last April, Jimmy and Tom, I can appreciate, and Jimmy knows, he's been a Seneca Falls guy too, that last year I marked down as the worst winter of my lifetime.
Absolutely.
Year. 4 to 6 every day, snow, wind chill 25 below every day for like months. So this year, knock on wood, we are getting the payback. Let's talk a bit about your backgrounds. Tom, why don't you take it first? Where you were born, where you went to school, and what you're currently doing. Obviously, you're involved in the business right now. But
yeah, born in Rochester, New York,
okay.
Third generation Wilmot at Wilmorite. My mother's family's actually all from the Canandaigua region. Maiden name Lenahan, Moran, Gillespie's. Probably familiar in that area. I went to Skidmore College, graduated in 1999, and my father persuaded me to come right to work for him. I knew that's where I was going to land eventually, but he persuaded me to come right in the company, spend some time in our finance department doing sort of loan maintenance and different refis, and transitioned into gaming when the family's interest sort of moved in that direction. And it's been a very exciting space to work in. It's a fun place to work.
Well, it's pretty interesting. And, of course, Jimmy, how about yourself as far as obviously you're born in Rochester?
Sure, I was born here too, and thankfully we do share the same parents. So my mother is also from Canandaigua in the Finger Lakes region, and I went to McQuaid Jesuit just like Tommy in Rochester, and then I went to Indiana University and
Indiana.
The
Hoosiers. Oh, baby.
Got a good team this year.
Oh, I know they do. Yeah.
So that always makes it a little more fun this time of year, too.
I know.
But and then in 2009, I had a similar conversation with Dad where he explained that it makes sense to come home, and I started off in our student housing division at Park Point RIT out in Henrietta, and then I moved around in some of our ops with the malls, working under some great guys, Jim Hofford out at Greece and Mike Kaufman out at Eastview Mall. And then about a little over 3 years ago, Dad grabbed me and said we had something fun going on in the Finger Lakes, and it looked like it was going to be a great project. So at that point, I think pretty much the whole family got pulled in off whatever we were doing, said, you're doing this. And it's been a lot of fun ever since. So.
Well, I think your dad and Brent Stevens, who were here, the co-chairman of Lago, mentioned that your dad was driving down the road with one son or two sons in the car. Were you both in the car when you were in the car?
Me and our older brother, Paul, who runs our construction.
So Paul and you were in the car with your dad, and you
Yep.
were just looking around or scoping out the area?
We had some ideas,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, we knew we wanted to be near Exit 41.
Oh, wow, you're near.
We did look around 42 a little bit, but quickly zeroed in on a couple of sites and did our diligence, and we wanted a clean site. We didn't want to have any environmental issues, and where we landed is just that.
So it was like winning the lottery finding that site.
Yeah, I think it's, from an accessibility, almost a dream site.
Amazing.
And from, minimizing impacts, also a pretty incredible site.
Now, Tom, let me ask you again. Since this has taken place, you have obviously had some adversaries against the fact that Lago wants to put a resort casino there. Obviously, I use that term lightly. You all know that research has been done that are being financed by Turning Stone and by Finger Lakes Gaming. Certainly, I made a comment to your dad and Brent that it's America. People have a right to question or argue the fact of a certain project coming to their area. And your dad pointed out during the interview on this show that it's expected when you do a construction or a project, you're going to get some opposition. Has the opposition been, Tom, what you thought it would be, or is it more than you think, or just like a nagging mosquito, just won't go away? Article 78s are being applied to different courts around the state. What's your view on that so far?
I think the arguments we're hearing are pretty typical for anyone trying to stop a development like this. I would say the resources being thrown at the opposition to our project are pretty considerable and atypical.
Mm-hmm.
Got people with, I would say, money to burn, and they're going to burn it to try and
stop it,
slow us down or stop it. Yep.
Jimmy, as far as you're concerned, same attitude. You're expecting certain opposition, certain litigation in any project?
Yeah, anything you do, you're going to have litigation where it's a new build.
But in this case?
I think just like Tom said and like our father said a couple weeks back, the resources seem to be the differentiator in this one. But we expected a certain amount of pushback.
Well, as I told your dad and Brent, I had the opposition on this program to air their views last year. And they were very well spoken, and they indicated, I don't know how big their group is, gave them a chance to air their views on this program and explain their rationale of changing the culture and changing the look of Tyre, New York. I think the thing that bothers me most is I think that the Tyre board, Ron McGreevy and his crew out there, were getting criticized quite heavily for lack of leadership and lack of technicality as far as looking at the eye, dotting the I's and crossing T's. I think Tom and Jimmy, you both will agree they have worked their buns off around the clock to look at all the aspects, and I think you'd agree with me on that.
Yeah, they've held over 24 hours of public hearings to review this application. Everything has been scrutinized. It's been scrutinized by the town's own legal and engineers, and it's very difficult to make an argument that this was done quickly or somehow short-sightedly.
Well, Tom Wilmot Jr., along with Jimmy Wilmot, my special guest this morning, talking obviously Lago. And I think that, Judge Falvey, who will be in Waterloo, I believe, next month, hearing an Article 78, the last one that I was a part of, that I was in the courthouse and your dad was there indicating and all the lawyers were there, he rendered his decision a few weeks ago on that particular Article 78 and not only rejected it, he rejected all 12 points, point after point. He didn't give the other side one element to lay their hat in. And I think that's important as well. And he's going to hear the next one. Not that he's already made his decision, but I think that bodes well for Lago.
Yeah, I think, it shows that the process has been thorough and by the letter of the law. And I think Judge Falvey saw that, and the opposition obviously had 12 different complaints about the process, and he denied them all. We're not the lawyers.
Right.
No, but we think we have very good ones, and they feel good about where we stand. And
you made a good point, too, before we went on the air about one of the complaints now being levied against Lago and your dad and Brent and the company putting together this project, which is huge in spectrum, is the fact the IDA involvement, Tom, and the IDA indicating from the opposition that the IDA should not have the right to grant benefits to the Lago folks. And you made a good comment about all the 4 sites or 4 casinos all have IDAs working on their behalf.
Yeah, all including us, all 4 are working with their local IDAs on their projects. So this isn't unique to Seneca County and Lago.
Well, it's going to be interesting as we proceed. And before we take a commercial break, Jimmy, for our viewers, if you haven't been out to the Lago site, you got to drive by and check it out. It's amazing how much work. Give us an update as far as, for the people, Jimmy, what has been done so far. I know you got some steel put in, etc. Give us an update.
Sure. If you were by there about a year ago, you would have saw some bulldozers moving dirt around. I mean, we've come a long way since then, and we put a lot of equity at risk, and it's paid off now with the timing we've had. So we've basically finished site work. We finished foundations. You can see a structure. We're about 70% through casino steel going up. We started doing the framing for the siding. We've started doing roofing a few weeks back. We really expect in April to have a weather-tight site, and then early May to actually have it. Yeah, weather-tight building, and then in May to actually have it fully enclosed. So our MEP contractors can go to work, and we can really have another ramp-up of employees. There's about 110 guys working there today. So if you drive by, there are a lot more trucks and activity and cranes. And
when it's full speed ahead, you're going to have more than 100 people out there, too.
Oh, yeah, we're going to ramp up. What was the number that I know it was well over 400.
Oh, no, it'll be like 800.
Wow.
When the building's enclosed and we're working in and out, and the hotel will start going up in March, it'll be a little city.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And, of course, for the viewers, too, as I made a comment when I heard way back when that a casino might be brought to Tyre, New York, since I'm a Seneca Falls guy, I said, where? Tyre, New York. You mean up from my buddy Gary in the McGee Diner? He's excited, by the way. But I said to myself, wow. And so the people should realize the throughways, obviously having been there as a part-time collector in one of my 15 part-time jobs since I retired from Gould's, that's going to be increased as far as bringing traffic across, because you need to have more access to get across that throughway, because it's a quick left and there it is. But roads are going to be extended too. So what time frame are we looking at for that construction type of things to happen? Is there like a timetable for that?
Well, like the Thruway Bridge on 414, the Thruway Authority and DOT have a specific construction season for all that, and it's basically spring to early fall. So that's when all that work will occur. There will be the addition of another toll booth at the Thruway exit, and then certain intersections and widening will also occur.
And, as you look at the casino, and obviously you want people to have a great experience, and from what I understand, 2,000 slot machines, gaming opportunities, restaurants, bars, hotel, it's going to have it all. And the thing I talked about with your dad and Brent Stevens is people love to be, because it's like an inner city. You're in there and you somehow never really want to get out, but there will people want to get out to see the Finger Lakes. There's a lot of things to see here, Jimmy and Tom.
Sure.
The Women's Hall of Fame right down the street from us. A lot of things happening. Home women's rights, people coming in here during the summer from China, Japan to see the Women's Hall of Fame. So there's going to be opportunities for people. And what I loved about what Brent told me is they're going to work on cards to some of the local people that they sign up for Lago sign up. They can go and have breakfast and use their card, which I think is a neat idea.
Yeah, so, and additionally, we're going to be trying to emphasize hiring locally.
Right.
And I think having our employees from the area is going to allow them to be ambassadors to the entire Finger Lakes region, and that's one of our goals, is that, excuse me, everybody that works at Lago is an ambassador to the region. And, we often get asked, why aren't you building a golf course? Why aren't you doing that? And the reply is, we don't need all that stuff because it's here.
Yeah.
And we're going to get people to go out and use what's here.
That's right. And we hope you come down to Seneca Falls Country Club.
I've been there a few times. Great course.
Oh, yeah. We're looking forward to it. There's the president over there, the director and owner. But certainly, I think it's great because my wife and myself, we get to Vegas or somewhere and we stay encompassed in a casino atmosphere. And we're unique in the fact that, we're there and we probably go out once in a great while if we're there for a few days. But primarily, there's so much to do inside the casino.
Sure.
You can do that, or you can choose to go on a wine tour. You can choose to go to the Seneca Falls Country Club and play golf. You can do some touring. You want to go fishing. My God, we got great lakes here in the Finger Lakes. Are you kidding me? It's great fishing. So there's a multitude of things that people can do other than just staying confined in the casino. And yes, you want them to be in the casino, but you also want them to enjoy themselves while they're here.
Sure. And, we took that into account. We're very lucky in the Finger Lakes region. We have over 20 million visitors on an annual basis to see what we have in this area. And we took that into account, and we were very respectful of obviously what's the drivers currently with the wine trails and the cheese trails and now all the breweries and distilleries that are popping up, doing such a good job of bringing out-of-state visitors and downstate visitors to our beautiful part of the country. So we went out and we partnered with all these people, and like Brent mentioned when he was on here before, we actually, just like you have in any other casino, we're going to have a Players Reward Program, which is Lago's Players Rewards Program, but we're actually partnering with the local community, so all the businesses that want to sign up, that have signed up, and we've had a multitude that have at this point, as they earn points, you can use them obviously in our facility. You can use them to get hotel rooms or coffee or whatever you like, but you can actually go out on the wine trail and pay for your wine, pay for your busing system, enjoy McGee Diner, have a great breakfast with Gary there.
He's a great guy.
It's hard not to love Gary.
He's a great guy.
And really enjoy everything that the community has to offer, and that's something that's unique to here. Like you said, part of our model is getting community involvement and community buy-in, getting everybody involved in this, because we do see this as being more transformative for the area than a typical casino that's sort of a standalone.
And by the way, we got Tom Wilmot Jr. along with Jimmy Wilmot joining us here on the Weber Show this morning. But we should point out you have a couple other siblings as well. Talk about your brother Paul and what his role is.
We have an older brother, Paul. He is the president of Wilmot Construction. So all that activity you see on the site is sort of under his umbrella. And he also runs a student housing division. And we have a younger sister, or younger to me, older to him, Loretta, who is currently a stay-at-home mom. She has a 2-year-old and is expecting another baby in about 3 months, but previously worked with us in the company in marketing.
Yeah, that's great. So that's the entire clan, as we say.
That is.
But a child may be coming soon for the sister.
And our older brother has 3.
Expanding.
So
That's good. That's good.
There's a 4th generation in the pipe.
That's right. Well, this is Weber This Week, and we're joined by Tom Wilmot Jr. along with Jimmy Wilmot, and we're going to take a commercial break, pay homage to the people that make this show possible, and we'll come back and continue our discussion with the Wilmot sons in a minute. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Visit Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams and Wadhams Enterprises, your local employer of choice. Proud supporter of Weber This Week and local athletics. Fill out an application at wadhams.com. The Gould Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historic downtown Seneca Falls landmark. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-price appetizers. Learn more at thegouldhotel.com. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country fresh home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at mcgeediner.com. The Seneca Falls Country Club, awesome 18-hole layout, open to the public, and a 12-month payment plan for members. Come try to par the par 416, the toughest hole in central New York. Check out SenecaFallsCountryClub.com. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at NewarkPilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. Rich Rickey and Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. Welcome back, everybody. It's the dog with you, and we're hoping you're all having a good Monday morning. And by the way, we want to remind everybody before we get back to talk to Tom Jr. and Jimmy Wilmot, a couple of notes in the world of sports. Jimmy, of course, sending out a nice notice on Finger Lakes One today about basketball coverage. Jimmy, you're going to have a real hectic week. A real hectic week.
Yeah, we've got
A lot of sectional games.
We have potentially 9 games in 7 days.
Wow.
Tonight we got Clyde against East Rochester in Class B, or C1.
Yep.
Tomorrow Minders is at Calmum to face Wellsville. The next day, Wednesday, would be a girls-boys doubleheader. Newark's playing Hornell in Penn Yan. The girls play first, and then the boys. That's both sectional semifinal games in B2. And our B1, I get confused. It's getting confusing. Thursday we're off.
Oh, God, a day off.
Friday at the Blue Cross Arena for potentially a doubleheader, depending on which local teams advance. Saturday, potentially a doubleheader at Rush Henrietta with South Seneca girls and maybe Minders girls. And then Sunday, if Palmyra or Newark wins, they'll play in the B1 final Sunday, and then after that, the teams that survive go on to states, and we'll be following them along the way as well. So,
are you going to stay at the hotel in Rochester and not commute back and forth?
We might on Friday night into Saturday. Actually, yeah.
Wow,
it depends. They don't have the game time set yet. Yeah. So
busy week for Section 5 basketball. I know Jimmy and mentioned McQuaid, etc. Big time this year for Section 5 girls and boys basketball. Nothing like it, Jim. Nothing like it, right, Jimmy? Sectionals are the best. So get a chance. Finger Lakes One will have it. Just check out our website, and Jimmy will give you the time of when we start and all that good broadcasting. By the way, a couple other sports notes. I don't know if you guys are racing fans. How about Denny Hamlin wins this Daytona 500 by inches.
4 inches.
Over Martin Truex Jr. Yep. Oh, what a heartbreak city. But I like Jeff Gordon, by the way, as a commentator. He certainly knew what he was talking about. Speaking of Indiana, I think he's from Indiana, right, Jeff Gordon? Or it's California, I'm not sure. But anyways, it was a great race. I wasn't much into watching it live because too many commercials, but I did tape it, and I was rolling through it late yesterday afternoon. What a finish that was. A few inches.
Yeah.
It was. People are excited. And by the way, for you SU basketball, I know Jimmy had the podcast on. Syracuse seated, according to Joe Lenardi's bracketology, seated number 9 in the West to take on South Carolina. I don't know how they know this way out in advance, but they do. This Joe Lenardi's a legend. He's got Syracuse seated 9th, taking on South Carolina. That's the good news. The Syracuse is still in the tournament. The bad news is the first couple of games are in Oklahoma City, and who do you think is the number 1 seed? Oklahoma. I saw that this morning. I said, are you kidding me? So SU right now seeded number 9 to take on South Carolina. I don't know how they predict this far out, but they do, and we'll have to wait and see. But again, they're slated to be in Oklahoma City, and of course Oklahoma, the number 1 seed. They would play the winner. Oklahoma would play the winner of that game. So time will tell. You a big college basketball fan, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, you're a Hoosier fan.
I am a big Hoosier fan as well, but I also love my Qs. So.
You love your Qs.
I grew up going to the games. Our father's SU grad. Our oldest brother, PJ, is an SU grad. And
what's it with this Pittsburgh team? They seem to have the number on SU. They just out-muscle him, huh? That guy's amazing. I think they won 7 out of the last 9 games against Syracuse, something like that.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you may be too young to remember 1987 when Syracuse played Indiana.
I was reminded.
So whenever I meet anybody that says they went to Indiana, that immediately flashes into my brain that shot.
Well, you liked me before this interview.
Well, glad to hear that you still are a Syracuse fan.
Of course.
So that was a long time ago now.
We were in D.C. a couple years ago to watch the Orange knock Indiana out of the tournament.
That
was fun.
Game, yeah.
We almost had an inter-family brawl at that game.
That's funny. Hey, listen, Tom Wilmot Jr. and Jimmy Wilmot joining us this morning talking Lago, obviously. Guys, I know that the process began, litigation set in, a lot of presses covered this event and the unveiling of Lago, and it will continue to enhance as you get closer and closer. I know you guys, I'm sure you love your dad, but you guys got a tough skin, but I'm sure he must have tough skin to take all the shots that people deliver against him and Brent. Does that affect you at all? Just used to it. It's a part of the rodeo. You got to go through it. Because all the people that take shots about it's all individualistic, they're all trying to make money, they could care less about the Finger Lakes, it's they don't need tax breaks, they don't need, I mean, how often does that get to you guys as far as the media coverage? Because some of it is a little skewed.
Really not at all.
You kind of just roll with the
yeah,
punches, right?
You know, I don't know how I'd summarize it, but people will say and do crazy things when you know, they're really grasping, and no, it just rolls right off.
This ain't your dad's first rodeo either.
About 50 years in this business, so he's seen
it
a
all.
few of these.
Well, I was thinking, you know, leading up to the interview and thanking you guys for coming on this morning, but I was thinking, man, oh man, your dad's taking more rights. He's begging for a left, you know, every time. You know, they're taking shots at Tom and your dad and all that stuff. Okay. But I think you're right. Having met him a couple times, having him on the show, and we'll certainly be engaged him as we lead up to the opening. Sure. And I hope they'll come back, him and Brent. But, you know, it's tough because there's always going to be some roadblocks along the way, and you guys have maneuvered your way through it, and the litigation is part of it. And I think Tom pointed out before we went on the air this morning, the only people making money is the lawyers, you know. I mean, these guys, you know. It reminded me, speaking of the O.J. miniseries, it reminded me of that. There's lawyers everywhere.
We certainly don't want to be compared to that.
No, agreed. No, you don't want to. No. You're right. No, that's not a good correlation. But, you know, I think it's rolling, and I think if you had a chance to talk to our viewers this morning, both of you, let me start with you, Jimmy. The road to opening is on its way, and it's going at good speed. Things are looking good. Talk to our viewers about that you're excited, and they should be excited about what's coming.
Yeah, this has been an incredible process. I mean, we're over 3 years into this process now. It started with our father's dream of what he wanted to do and where he wanted to do it. We were lucky enough to get partners into this project that have the experience to see it through once construction's done, and also the formulation of the plan of construction on how to get this to a point where it is the best casino in upstate New York. And it's something that not only we can be proud of and our partners can be proud of, but that the community, everybody that's been involved in this very long process now, can be incredibly proud of. I mean, I certainly hope that you know, as we open and as we become more involved in the community, that, you know, there's just an incredible feeling of pride, whether it's part of the workforce and the unions that are out there that are, you know, showing off their skill sets and really their pride in their jobs, or whether it's the people that we hire that get to go to a place that is unique to this area, that is supporting such a vast economic change. So yeah, we couldn't be more excited, and the fact that we get to do it right here in our backyard after, well, for Dad, it's been a 20-year fight to try to do something in this part of the country, and me and Tommy personally, you know, I spent a year traveling around the Midwest trying to get something done, and he spent 3 years living in California trying to get something done in gaming, and to be able to come back here and to do it right here is really incredible. So,
Tom, same views?
Same thing, yeah. Just excited every day. You know, you can see Lago is taking another step further, and watching it get built is a lot of fun, but really can't wait just to get it open. I think it's going to be beyond everyone's expectations.
It's funny when we're on the throughway, because we get close here, we're on our phone, you know, we're taking calls, we're doing what we got to do. And then you see the cranes, and you almost go quiet, and you just start smiling. So you think of what that site looked like, you know, 3 years ago when we're looking at this piece of dirt. And now it's you can see a building, and it's getting there. It's really incredible.
It is incredible, and I know that myself and Jimmy, of course, being Seneca Falls guys, you know, it's a talk at the theater, it's a talk at the restaurants, it's a talk at the diner. My buddy Gary at McGee, it's a talk everywhere I go. And I hear very little criticism, I got to be honest with you, about the casino. I very seldom hear it. Once in a while I hear somebody say something negative, but for the most part, it's been running 90-10. Pro casino, pro Lago.
98-2. I mean, that's the point. Is
Jimmy, it's just amazing.
Of small, very small minority can be very vocal.
Sure.
Because the majority generally will just sit back and be happy and content that this is happening. So I think sometimes the perception is skewed. There really is no resistance to this other than a handful of individuals funded, you know, by Turning Stone, the Oneidas, Turning Stone, and Finger Lakes Gaming. So it's just an unbelievable boon for this area that really needed something. I mean, how many developments are going to generate over 1,000 jobs, So it's just, we're very fortunate. And the fact that now, you mentioned you guys driving down the thruway and seeing the cranes. When I drive on that thruway and I look over there, it's just like, wow, yeah, this is actually, this concept of this idea is actually coming to reality. So
yeah.
It is pretty amazing. And, again, having worked at Thruway as a collector, thank God I retired from that job. It's going to be crazy when the bell rings. Oh, my God. I got to tell you a quick story. When I was out there, Jimmy's heard it before, but I was out there in the summertime. We're very busy in the Thruway, as you can appreciate. And you won't believe the number of people that come from Ontario, Canada, that come to the outlet. It's amazing.
Sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, sure.
And I always used to bust their chops because that's just all part of my nature, I'd say. Now you're driving 2.5 to 2 hours and 45 minutes each way to come to the outlet mall. Is that right? Yeah. Why? Well, we get good deals. I said, don't you have a mall nearby? It's amazing. But I remember during the summertime, they would be all the way out to the Thruway when we got busy. Because, trucks galore come through there, obviously. And, we're doing the best we can. And people would come up to you about, after waiting 15, 20 minutes, without Easy Pass, by the way, Jimmy and Tom, they didn't have Easy Pass. You tell them, go get Easy Pass. You can get in and out. And they start screaming at you about how slow it is. I'm going, oh, boy. So I was thinking, when you guys decided to build this casino, and having been at 41 many, many times in that booth, thinking, oh, baby, we need some extra windows to get people through there, because it's going to be crazy. They're anticipating 9,000 additional visitors a day. That's just mind-boggling. It's going to be great, though.
Yeah.
As long as you're not a collector to Thruway. No. But, hey, it's going to be great. I mean, they'll figure a way to get the flow traffic moving, and that's some of the issues, Tom, I'm sure you guys are working on.
Yeah, the traffic engineers have studied
Exactly.
all of that, and
Right.
we anticipate mitigating that additional traffic and making sure it flows very smoothly.
That's
but
right.
Yeah, we hope the collectors are a little busier than usual.
Oh, they'll be busy. Don't worry.
No napping.
Oh, no. Believe me, we didn't nap out there at all. It's hard to nap. Even though I did the night shift a couple times, that's boring.
Oh, I got to imagine.
I went 2 hours and 10 minutes without a car on a Thruway one night. I was in Geneva doing 42, and it was sort of wintry, a little sleet and so forth, and from 1 a.m. till 10 after 3, I didn't get a car going on or coming off. That's boring. And I brought my 7 newspapers. You're not supposed to bring a computer out there. I brought that. I had music, and it was hard to stay awake because you're the only person in the booth.
Yeah.
It was boring. But they pay you, so it's not a big deal, I guess.
You needed your pillow.
Oh, man, I tell you what. It's funny you say that, because I remember nodding off in the booth a couple times, and I would hit my head against the side and say, stay awake, in case somebody comes through. But I admire my colleagues out at the Thruway with those night shifts. Are tough. Well, guys, I appreciate it, and thank you very much for carving out some time to be with us. We hope to have you come back sometime. Give us an update down the road.
Love to.
Thank you, Doug.
And maybe we'll make arrangement to have your brother Paul sit right over there. We'll have him come in. We'll get all 3 of you.
We can make that work.
Talk some Syracuse basketball.
There you go. So we can arrange that. So appreciate it, and say hi to your dad for me, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having us.
Jimmy Wilmot and Tom Wilmot Jr. Joining us this morning on the Weber Show. By the way, before we sign off, let's get a couple of reminders of upcoming guests here. We're pretty excited about what we got in store for you. Next week, Jimmy knows him. He washes the windows around here. His name is Dave DeFranco. He puts together comedy shows to help out the disabled vets. He's an interesting guy. Looking forward to seeing him, and he may bring somebody from the famous Wall. That'll be next Monday here on the Weber Show. Dave DeFranco, again, working with organizations to raise funds to help out disabled vets. What a great cause that is. They will be here next week to talk that issue. Then on a couple weeks from today, the 7th, we move into the merry month of March. We've had a lot of discussions. Speaking of Lago, talk about discussion. How about Seneca Metals? They've had a lot of PR, a lot of it good, a lot of it not so good. We're going to have the general manager, a Minders graduate, Kyle Black, and the head of community services for Seneca Metals, Mark Benjamin. They will be my special guest on March the 7th. Then March 14th, the new sheriff or the new undersheriff of Seneca County, Tim Luce, good friend of mine, and John Clear will be in the show, in the studio to do the show. And then, of course, on the 21st, Katie McIntyre from the Generations Bank. Why will she be in? She'll be in talking about the 19K opportunity on, yes, May 7th. 2016. That's a big deal for women's rights and women's suffrage, et cetera, et cetera. So Katie McIntyre will be here and the show coming up on the 21st of March. So speaking for Jim Senecropi and for Tom Wilmot Jr., along with Jimmy Wilmot, we thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next week on Weber This Week. Have a great week, everybody.